Welcome to the Cat Scrappiness Winter 2023 Virtual Retreat. My name is Lynn, and I'm very excited to introduce you to our first ever retreat. We have 7 instructors who will each teach a workshop sharing how to create some last-minute holiday makes. Christmas is just 3 weeks away, so if you need some quick ideas for everything from tags to home decor, we've got you covered. We have a lot of fun planned for today, so let me tell you a bit about how our day will go. We've divided the 7 workshops into 2 sessions, a morning session and an afternoon session. Each session is a pre-recorded video that will premiere here on YouTube so that you can join us live and chat along with the instructors in the live chat during each workshop. Throughout the day, we are going to have a lot of giveaway prizes that you can only win if you are watching live. So please do me a favor and hit that like button and also share this video so your crafty friends can also find this video and join us for a chance to win some fabulous prizes. Each of our instructors will give away the projects they are showcasing in their workshop. We also have some Cat Scrappiness gift certificates to give away, and as well, our grand prize is a $150 mystery holiday gift bundle full of Cat Scrappiness products. This is the morning session, and in this session, we have 4 instructors sharing how to make tags, festive cards, photo folios, and stocking stuffers. Do rejoin us this afternoon at 1:00 p.m. Pacific or 4 p.m. Eastern to catch the second half of our retreat. As you are joining our workshop, please say hi in the live chat, let us know where you're joining from, and if you have questions, our instructors will be in the live chat to answer any questions and chat along with you. Let's get started.
Hello friends, it's Danny here of Danny's Dreams, and I am super excited to be here to teach my workshop on tags for the Cat Scrappiness First Winter 2023 Virtual Retreat. We are featuring last minute makes, all geared towards the holidays. I know December sometimes can be a month where you're super busy and you don't have time to make those last minute things you need. So these will all be quick and easy projects. I am a little bit nervous that I'm the first workshop, but it's all good. It's all good. So I will be sharing how and showing you how to make a quick and easy tag today. Before I get to that, a little backstory on the tag we're going to make is that when my children were little, my husband was in the Army and he was deployed most Christmases. I am not a fan of wrapping, so for each Santa gift, Santa would always bring them unwrapped and just have different piles. But if I had to wrap anything, I used 1 wrapping paper for Santa, 1 wrapping paper for my daughter, and 1 wrapping paper for my son so that they could just tell easily what was theirs. But I thought I would carry that concept onto the tags today. If you had a lot of different people to give things for, you could do all one, like one person could be all red on their tags, and one person could be all green, and one person could be all blue, etc. I'll show you a little bit more what I mean when I get to the workshop, but that's a little backstory of where it came from and how I decided. You can find me on all the socials as Danny's Dreams, and many of you might know that in November, I typically do a tag a day. So when I was asked what I wanted to teach today, I jumped on the chance to do tags. So let me show you the ones that I've already gotten made. And some of these do use some extra products besides the retreat bundle, like the stitched scalloped nesting tags. I love this tag die set. It has so many great I mean, they're like the perfect sizes from all the way to large to small. You don't have to use those, but they are a great set to pick up. Along with the telescopic embossing powder tool, I did do quite a bit of embossing on these tags, so that came in handy. And then I did use a couple stamp sets, which I did not grab for this workshop, but the Dress Up Quokkas and the Ugly Sweater add-on, and then the Merry Critters. I'm sure that they're with the last releases that Cat Scrappiness has had. I'm sure there's tons of other holiday items you can pick up to go along with this retreat bundle. But this one, I just used some of the paper, the die set, and I embossed that Merry Christmas, and again, those tag dies. I had saved this ribbon for years, and I'm so excited that I finally got a chance to use it. So that was my first one. My second one, I made a fun little shaker tag, used the sprinkles that came in that retreat bundle, along with the dies, and then just be merry. This is that little Dress Up Quokka with the Ugly Sweater add-on. Did a little paper piecing. I don't know if you could see his little sweaters, all cute and gold. And just 2 layers of those stitched scalloped nesting dies. Kind of did one at an angle, but it's glued so it doesn't move. And again, embossing. And I also embossed around the edges, which we will do today. I think it adds a nice, fun touch. This tag I did, and I thought it was just a great way to use up those scraps that you have, because this is such gorgeous glitter paper. I didn't want to get rid of any of it. That is my cat Alyssa. She is very interested in this ribbon. And this is the Merry Critters stamp set that I just add on that. So easy peasy. And then the stencil that comes in the retreat bundle is gorgeous, and that's what we will be working with today. But this is just one I put together with just stenciling. And then I did that gold embossing around the edges, and I did the sentiment. Hopefully you can see it. It's Happy Holidays. But I kind of had that, I didn't care so much if there was like flecks of the gold embossing powder, because it kind of gave that like distressed kind of look or whatever. And I just thought it turned out really pretty. And then those dies. So that is what I have made already. We'll make one more tag today. And then the fun part is that we are giving away all of our projects. So one lucky person will get all 6 of these tags. And I am in the live chat. Forgot to say that since this is a premiere. I am in the live chat right now if you have any questions. But to give me an idea, if you want to be entered to win my tags, just put in the description box, or not the description box, in the comments, tags are fun, like it is up on screen. And then I will choose one random person to win my tags, and you will need to fill out the prize claim form that's in the description box below. So let's get to making the project today. I'll leave that because there is such a glare. So for my project, we are going to use the Reindeer Games Sentiment stamp set. We're going to use that Christmas sweater stencil. I got out a 6x6 piece of bristle smooth cardstock, but you can really do it any size you want to do it. I just have some extras in case I need it. You will need a piece of ribbon. I'm going to use some more of that gold. We're going to use a tiny little bit of the Christmas glitter paper. And then you can step it up if you want. Mine today are going to be very basic, but you could always add like this bow or some of the other fabulous dies from that stamp set. I'm also going to be using the Candied Apple Distress Oxide ink, that telescopic embossing powder tool. I have some glue, scissors, a corner rounder punch, these cute little blending brushes from Cat Scrappiness, and I think that's all. My heat embossing tool. I'm going to use some Versamark ink and some gold embossing powder. I think that's it. You'll have to apologize. My cat is feeling very feisty, and she is trying to attack me. So I apologize if she happens to pop on here. All right, so I'm just going to leave this piece of white paper here. Typically I wouldn't, but there's such a glare with the camera that I'm just going to do that. I'm going to bring in that stencil. You will need a trimmer too, I just realized. And I'm just going to hold it with the magnets here. And then to save some time, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to do probably like this midsection, because then we're going to trim it down. And so I'm going to just take that little brush. It works so good because this stencil is so detailed. It doesn't like pull on the little edges or anything. It goes on smooth and nice. I have to admit I had never used these before, but they are a wonderful blending brush. I really like using them, and I can see that they would be very, very good for like more finer detailed stencils. So I was excited to try those. And you can do as dark as you want. You can do as light as you want. You can kind of make it your own. Again, the premise for doing it all one color is so that if you wanted to save time on like writing the tags, you could assign one person a red tag, one person a green tag, one person a blue tag, and so on. And it just would make it easy for them to see, hey, that's my gift, or, you know, so on. Just makes it a little bit easier. And again, these tags that we're making today are so super easy. And so you could knock out a lot of them at one time and not feel like you spent hours and hours and hours making something that may or may not be as appreciated as other things. All right, so I'm just going to finish this up. I don't want it necessarily all like, I don't know, the same detail, I guess. Like I want some a little bit lighter, some a little bit darker. We are going to go for more of that distressed type look. All right, and so then I'm going to just move this to the side. I will clean that later. And so there we have our stencil piece. Let me get that so it doesn't move around. And then you can cut this to any size that you want. See if I can get this. My work area is very tiny here. I think I'm going to use that Happy Holidays again stamp set. And so I just want to get a feel. It is about, let's see here if I can even see it's about 2 inches. So I'm going to make my tag about 2.5 inches wide. I'm going to just cut off like an edge there. And then this is where I will do it to like 2.5 inches. And then I think I want to get this pretty detail here. So I'll probably cut it right there, which is I think about, I did it at like 5 1/4 there. I'm going to take just, well, that part's going to be covered. So we're going to leave that part up there. While I have the trimmer out, we're going to take the Christmas glitter paper here, and see, I've used a lot of it, and I saved my scraps because you never know. I'm going to use this red paper, and my goodness, I have it going everywhere. And let's see, we said 2.5, so I'm just going to cut a piece that is, let's do 2.5 will be our width. And then I think, so that would go like that. I think I want just about, what is that, like an inch. So I'm going to do like 1.25 inches here. And that's going to be the top. And I just realized I did not grab my hole punch. So I'm going to grab that real quick. It's not too far from my desk. Sorry about that. Thought I had everything, but then I don't. All right, so we've got that. Next up, we are going to do the embossing around the edges. So I'm going to bring this over. I just am using Versamark. And basically, you're just, oh, and I almost forgot. We want to do some of the embossing powder. And this, you need to just pump it a few times, take it off, and just brush it over there. Doesn't matter as much. Like I said, I kind of like that distressed look. Then we're going to take the Versamark embossing mark ink, and we're just going to rub it on the edge. You can kind of get it, you can kind of, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but like it kind of goes up a little bit, and that is fine. I'm not going to put any on the top so that I have somewhere to hold. So you can just do as much or as little as you want. I'm going to bring over my fancy embossing tools. I always hold it with a clothespin, and then it's just some gold embossing powder. I think I've probably had it for years. Just going to sprinkle it on and tap it off, and then just a little bit more there. Just kind of flick, and so you can see it's going to be around the edges. Down there towards the bottom, there's a little bit extra, but that's just perfectly fine. So now I'm going to heat emboss it real quick. I am doing it on screen. Sorry for the noise, but I didn't want to like totally take this footage totally out because it's so cool to see it emboss. I constantly move my embossing tool. Should start to heat up pretty fast. And the magic will happen soon, I'm sure. As I say that, and we wait and we wait. All right. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. So how many people love embossing? It's just like magic when that embossing powder starts to melt. I gotta change my grip a little bit there. So it's gonna go around there. Want to make sure we get all those little bits to add that little bit of like distressing, I guess you can call it. I think it's so fun to watch it melt. Sorry if it's out of camera there. All right, we're almost in the home stretch. Want to get the little bits that might have gotten over here. All right. And while this is still, my heat gun is still warm, we're going to bring in, I use a mini Misty, going to bring that in, and we're going to make we're going to stamp the sentiment and heat emboss it while that's already heated up. So I don't have to like have you wait on that process. So again, I said I'm going to use that Happy Holidays. I'm going to put it right kind of, where do we want it? I think right there is where I like it. Close the door of my Misty to pick it up. If you don't have a Misty, of course you can use just an acrylic block. I just like how the Misty helps to get a good impression. All right, and so then we will emboss this real quick. Let me move that out of the way. And I'm just going to grab that embossing powder. All right. And then we are going to heat emboss this real quick. Sorry for the noise again. All right, so there we can see how pretty that is, and it adds such a neat touch to have it around the edges. I learned this trick from Lynn, LV Handcrafted. It's a Swiffer dusting cloth. Just kind of takes all those little bits off of there. All right, next I'm going to take my corner rounder, and I'm just going to round the top corners. Since we already embossed the bottom, I don't want to do that. Just the top ones. I want to do that on this piece as well. And we're almost done. Very, very easy. And then I'm going to glue this right on top. You can use liquid glue or whatever glue you like. I do want it to be pretty sturdy, so I'm putting quite a bit on there. Ah, my glue bottle fell. All right, and I'm just gonna line up those edges the best that I can. Sometimes it helps to kind of tap it down there. And then I'm going to put my pen in my glue so it doesn't dry out and so I don't lose it. All right, and then we're going to go in with the hole punch. You can be precise and get out and find the exact center if you want. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, maybe like right there. And there's that. The last step is to take the ribbon. I typically kind of fold it like that, kind of bend it. I got it kind of off center, but that's all good. It's all good. And then put it through there. And there we have a very quick and easy tag. It says Happy Holidays. It has that gold and that red. Again, you could dress it up like I have some of the others with like the die cuts, with the bow. The bow would look really pretty on there. I just wanted to show that you could also do a very simple one. Like I said, if you had a lot, but then if they saw the red, they knew that it was their gift. So that's what I have for you today. I know that you are going to be seeing so many wonderful projects today. Be sure to leave some love. Ask any questions if you want, because like I said, I am in the chat box for a little bit. If you haven't, if you just joined us, put tags are fun to be entered to win all of my tags. And I think that that's all I have for you today. Next up is Vaughn Marie with some card making. Thanks so much.
Hello everyone, Vaughn Marie here. Welcome to my workshop. So I'm super excited for today. I've been looking forward to it. I hope you have too. So I am going to go ahead and show you the card that we will be making today. You've probably seen it on social media here. So we will make that, and it is a card with like a tag, or you could use it as a removable ornament. So just a little something extra for the recipient. So I'm using the Christmas sweater stencil. You could tell that I have used it a lot. And so the ink colors I'm using today are Festive Berries, Ground Espresso, and Mowed Lawn. And I'm just gonna start ink blending it here. And I'm just doing like the Christmas sweater part with this Festive Berries, and then I will switch it and do some Ground Espresso. This is white cardstock, and it's a little bit bigger than A2 size just because it's easier for me to die cut it when I use a rectangle die. So now I'm looking for my brown. Here it is. So hopefully you can see okay. I'm going to keep checking and making sure I'm on camera. And so hope you're having a great morning or a great day wherever you are, and that you're looking forward to the holidays. And I'm not sure if you were able to grab the bundle or not, or if you have a similar stencil like this, you can just use what you have. That's what I love, that it is a free retreat and you can use what you have. We appreciate you watching, and you can always come back and watch the replay as well. And I'm being a little heavy-handed here. And the ornament or tag is going to be in the center here, so some of this green will be covered up, I believe. Next, I'm going to use some more ground espresso ink. And just checking to make sure I'm on camera. I do that a lot. Okay, and this is real time, and I'm trying to make it speedy, so you might see me fumble a little bit because I don't have the editing today. I cannot edit because I want you to follow along. Okay, I'm going to go back, and just in case my deer's legs are not in this stencil, they will be now. Okay. Okay, so I think it is pretty. And you might have seen another card where I did blue and brown, so I think this stencil could be for anybody. Can do rainbow colors if you like. Okay, so now let's get started on the other stuff here, which is, I did die cut a circle, a scalloped circle. So if you have a scalloped circle die from Cat Scrappiness, if not, use any circle that is a good size for the center of your A2 card. And now I'm going to die cut some foliage for I'm going to make a wreath using some green cardstock. I do have my die cutting machine on a table to the side because my table shakes, so I think it's going to be a little bit quieter if I just position my leaves and die cut it right next to me so that it's quieter, and you won't hear my table hit the wall. And I'm just using some washi tape. This is just any washi tape. You can use any tape you want. I love that you get a lot of different foliage here, so you can just die cut it one time. Cat Scrappiness is good about that. She has another die, I think it was berries also, and you could just run it through one time, and that saves so much time. I love that. Okay, so I have these leaves already connected, and let me see if I have all of them. Okay, I think I do. I might be missing a pine that's probably somewhere. Okay, this one's loose. Probably somewhere on my desk. Okay, so I'm going to die cut it right here. And I'm missing the top here. And I'm just using my Pastel Binders Platinum 6 die cutting machine. I got it a while ago when it was the aqua color. Okay, so hopefully I have enough leaves here. If not, we will die cut some more. So I'm just, you know what, I forgot to stamp my sentiment first. So I'm using Shine Bright, and it's from the Reindeer Games. And I really like that stamp set. It has a lot of great sentiments. I actually used it quite a bit already. They have like a Merry Christmas, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Let me grab my black ink. I forgot it. My black ink had fell earlier, and then I just put it back where it was, and I forgot to bring it back again. I usually craft at, I have 2 tables that I usually craft at, and so sometimes my supplies are on one table and then I forget. So, okay, so I have the sentiment there, and I'm just gonna grab a white because I get ink on my fingers. Okay, so next we can add the foliage. And I'm just using some liquid glue. And it doesn't really matter where you put the bottom foliage, because the bow that we're using is going to cover most of that up. And I'm just kind of adding a holly, a pine, and then I will add, let me see, this, another leaf here that I can add the berries to the sprig. I don't know all the correct names. I guess that is what they're called. I just like saying foliage. Then it's easier for me. Okay. And I'm going to change places. I like the, you know what, that's okay. I could probably pick it up, but I remembered I wanted to add the berries on this side, because when I put a hole for the twine, sometimes the berries get in the way. So that is why I did it that way, I believe. And we're going to do some ink blending on this as well. And so let me see what is next. I think next is another holly. Okay, that's okay, because, and you can change the way they are. Like I said, it's pretty much going to get covered by the bow. The bow is pretty big. Don't you just love the glitter paper packs from Scrappiness? Oh my gosh, I love them. Okay, and you don't even really need to put another one in the center there, because we're gonna do the bow. So the bow is gold and red, so I just have some red cardstock. If you don't have red, you can ink blend some white cardstock. And I'm just looking for my die cutting plates. So this is the bottom, the shadow, or the bottom layer. And then the top will be the gold glitter paper. Oh, you know what? I did the wrong one. What I need is this one. Hey, you seen one blooper. So far, maybe more. I haven't. I'll have to watch this with you. Good thing I have extra cardstock near me for problems like that. Okay, there is the bottom. Now I'm going to save that red for another project, so it's not going to go to waste. Okay, so now we need a gold, and so I am just going to use some gold, and it's so pretty. And I'm going to have to grab me some more of that glitter paper, also just the plain gold. There's a gold pack and there is a silver pack, which I'm excited to get. I love that it's mess free, and so it makes my life easier, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. Okay, so really pretty. So let's go ahead and glue this together, and I don't need glue on all the pieces. I prefer some of the tails to like be loose, and here. Okay, so see, you won't see this, and I almost forgot to ink blend. So that's why you won't even notice the green, the foliage right here anyways, because we are ink blending. So it'll look like leaves. You can even put more pine or however you want to do it. If you prefer a different color, that is okay too. Okay, so and I forgot to add my berries, which is not a problem. So I love that you get a few berries in the festive arrangement set. And if we have time, which I think we do, I'm going to die cut. I want another pine leaf. Okay, wish me luck. I should have just used my smaller die cutting machine that I have on my table. Okay, got it. I feel like it looks empty right here. So, and I can tuck that in. Okay, that's a little better. And then I did have some extra berry leaves, so I'm just going to put glue on all of them because it's easier. I might cut that piece off. Okay, and you can always add another berry sprig as well, or you can even add a pine cone. And we can even die cut this, I mean not die cut this, embellish this right now as well. So, and I think I'm gonna just put one right here. And this is the, what is it, Sparkling Poinsettia Sprinkle Mix. I forgot my center. I knew something looked bare. That is okay. I forgot my bow center. So, blooper, another blooper. Okay, at least I remembered. So just at the end, when I'm showing you the finished card, we're like, it looks different. Okay, here is, and there's probably enough glue on there, but just in case, and I kind of just turn it to the side where the little ridges are. Okay, so now we can put this little clay piece, and I could have used my embellishment tool. And I hope my other pieces, I hope my glue is okay for my other gems. Okay, so usually I embellish at the end, but I thought, why not? Okay, so let's, that's what we need to do, is put a hole in here. So if you have like a hole puncher, or you might have like a, was it a crocodile? Anything will work. I just want to make sure I'm in here enough. Okay. Okay, and then if you have twine, you can use any twine. I just have a bunch of twine from over the years. And I'm just going to kind of pull it through, knot it, and so I think that's pretty. And I think it would be pretty too, just as a tag. Now I'm going to die cut my rectangle, and I'm trying, here it is. I'm going to die cut it with the largest rectangle, and that might be, oh, just to add to a card base. So pretty quick, and you can mass produce this card as well. Practicing, I've made a few of them. So, and next will be to add, so this is just some Scotch removable tape, and you can put as much or as little as you want. I would probably put 2 of these strips. And you can put a note in the center, I mean not in the center, in the inside, explaining to your recipient that it's removable, or sometimes there's stamps you can put to that says like pull. So I think it's just fun, and I love string on cards anyways. And so, and that finishes our card. Yay! I hope you like it. Let me show you other ones. And I even have another one here. So you can win 6 of my cards. So good luck, and I can't wait to see who wins my cards. Thank you for joining me today, and have a wonderful day.
Hello and welcome. I hope you enjoyed Von Marie's card making workshop. My name is Lynn, and in my workshop, I'll be sharing with you how to create a photo shaker folio. Here are the supplies that I'll be using. I have a set of nested arch dies. I've got the retreat bundle, which comes with this beautiful die set, some shaker bits, and as well patterned paper. You'll want to cut a piece of heavyweight cardstock to 8 1/4 wide by 6 inches tall. I also have 2 pieces of patterned paper cut to 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall, 2 pieces of acetate cut to 4 inches wide by 6 inches tall, and as well you'll need some foam tape, a bone folder, an embellishment wand, and additional pattern papers, and maybe some die cuts or ephemera to decorate your folio with. Okay, so I am going to start with my piece of cardstock that was cut to 8 1/4 by 6 inches tall. We want to score that at 4 inches and 4 1/4. And that gives you something that looks like this. Then I am going to just fold and burnish each of these score lines really well. And I'm looking to line up this bottom line here. I've already cut 2 panels of my gorgeous glitter cardstock. This is cut to 4 by 6 each of them. And one of them I can just adhere straight to, I'm going to put it on the left side. So let's start with this one. And what you want to be sure of is that you attach this so that it butts up right to the score line, but doesn't cross over into that score line at all. So if it helps at all, you could just give that a fold so you can see exactly where your score line is, and then get that nice and lined up. I like to attach it from the inside out, and that way, see how there's like a little bit that is hung over, you can always trim that part off. But if it's crossing over into your score line, it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to trim off of that left-hand edge. So I want to burnish that really well, and then I'll go ahead and trim off that bit of excess. You can use a pair of scissors if you want. I'm just going to bring it into my guillotine trimmer and just get that little bit of excess. I have a little bit of overhang at the bottom as well. So get that trimmed off, and that's the first side. Then for the right hand side, I'm not going to glue that down just yet. What I want to do before putting this down is I'm going to turn this side into a shaker element that will frame our photo. So photo folios are a great way to just share some memories with your family and friends, and they can be really fun little gifts to give as well. So it's not that doesn't take that long to do, and this will display beautifully. And I think it's just fun as a last minute gift idea if you are short of present and you find yourself in need, then maybe whip up one of these. So I'm looking to just position this where I'd like, and I think that looks good. So I'll go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine, and we'll get the center cut out there. And this will create an aperture opening where our photo will slip behind. But to dress it up even more, we'll turn it into a bit of a shaker, and that's just going to add a little bit more fun to this folio. And I mentioned in my supply list that we're going to need 2 pieces of acetate. And I find using 2 pieces really helps with this process because it just makes it a little bit easier to position everything. And what I'm going to do is run some double-sided dry adhesive all the way around, and we'll get this adhered to the back of this piece of glitter paper. And be sure, if you have any questions, let me know in the live chat. I am there chatting away with you, so if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them if I can. And of course, do comment, because I'll be giving away all 6 folios that I made for this retreat. So I'll give you a look at all 6 of them as we wrap up. But let me know in the comments if you like to give away like an annual holiday photo of your family for the holidays. I know a lot of my friends will often send a photo of their family, and it's kind of nice to see, their kids grow up over the years, and I always look forward to that. A lot of times those are the printed photos that you can get. I know that there are services that will actually, I think they'll print, custom print everything, and even mail it out for you too if you upload a mailing address. So I know that those services definitely make it easy, but this makes it very personalized. So I've got my bit of acetate on the back of this, and again, I've got a little bit of acetate hanging over. You can trim that with a guillotine like you saw me trim earlier, or just take a pair of scissors and trim that off. So just want to be careful not to trim into my panel. Then to turn this into a shaker, what we then need is some foam adhesive. So I've got a roll of adhesive here, and this is foam tape, probably around 3 millimeters thick. And so what I'll do is, anytime if you've made shakers before, you'll know this. You want to create a little well where the shaker bits can float around. And in order to really make sure that whatever shaker bits you're using don't escape, you really want to make sure that the foam that you adhere, that there are 0 gaps. So I'm making sure this butts up really snugly against that previous strip. And that way it creates this wall. And we want to do that on all 4 edges. Really make sure that it is well secured, that there are no gaps, and that's going to create a little area that our shaker bits can get poured into. So I'm gonna just put an extra bit of foam down here just so that this bottom part has some something behind it, so that when it gets stuck down to our folio, it doesn't just cave in. And there we have that. I'll give that a really good burnish. Now, you do want to make sure that you have your second piece of acetate. And what I like to do whenever I'm making shakers is I like to give my acetate a good wipe down. Really make sure that there aren't any smudges, no fingerprints. If there's anything that's a little bit stubborn, you could maybe spritz it with a little bit of alcohol. That should help to remove any oils or anything like that. And I'm gonna wipe down both, because once I get this shaker sealed off, I'm not gonna have access to clean this anymore. And so if there's dust, if there's fingerprints, and it's trapped on the inside, it's gonna be there forever. So we want to make sure of that. That's nice and clean. On the other 2 sides, we still have an opportunity to wipe those down. So I really just want to focus on the 2 portions that are going to enclose our shaker bits. And for shaker bits, I'm going to use Christmas shaker tinsel. And what I'll do is I'm going to peel up my the paper liner. It can help to use a little piercing tool like this. That might help you actually start to lift that liner. And I'll get all of these lifted off. And then we'll pour the shaker bits in. Now, the reason why I like to lift this off first is because sometimes these peeling off the paper liner, it can actually kind of jostle the whole thing around quite a bit. And that could make your shaker bits fly a little bit, and that for me is it makes it a little bit tougher when the shaker bits start to bounce all around and start to escape. So I always find that this part, if I take care of peeling this off first, then everything else goes a little bit more smoothly. And so this is very, very strong adhesive here. So I'm also being careful. I don't want to touch the acetate, but I also don't want to touch the adhesive either, because anytime you're touching your adhesives, you're leaving, you're taking a little bit of the stickiness away from it. So it's useful to, if you can, to just avoid that. That way your adhesive stays nice and sticky. And there we go. All right, so I've got all of the paper liner off, and now I'm going to, this is always the hardest part for me. I never know quite how much to fill. You don't want to put too much in this case, especially because there is going to be a photo behind here. So I want to be careful to not overfill it. That way there's going to be plenty of the photo still showing. It's just going to be enough to be a little bit of a fun interactive element. And so now what I'm going to do with the second piece of acetate is just close this right off. So there you can see some of the static is moving my shaker bits around. That's not a problem. I'll just stick my pokey tool in here and get that out. And then pull that out. And then again, I'm going to burnish everything down, make sure that this adhesive is well stuck to our acetate. Again, really want to make sure that seal is nice and tight so that none of those bits can escape. And there we have it. So we've got our shaker bits in here. And imagine a photo behind there. You can kind of shake it, get it to move a little bit close to the bottom if you want. And so that's just a fun little element there. Now we need to actually put this into our folio. So you can see it's going to look like that. And the reason why we've scored that extra 1/4 of an inch there is so that because there's a little bit of depth with that foam, that just helps everything close down nice and flush. So what I want to do is make this so that you can slip a photo behind here. So I don't want to glue this completely down to our base. And it's at this point where if you want to, if you don't want it to be white behind there, you could put something else back there if you'd like. I'm going to leave it because the whole idea is that if this is going to be a gift where you include a photo, then nobody's going to see that white area anyways. If you want to make this so that you don't need to actually take the photo out and swap it, for example, then you can actually glue your photo. This is 4x6. So you can take a 4x6 photo, glue it right to your panel here, and then glue this right on top. I don't know what photo I want to use just yet. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to adhere this to my folio, and I'm going to make it so that I can still slip a photo behind. So that's going to have the benefit of, one, I'll be able to choose later when I decide who I'm giving this to, what photo I would like to put in here. Two, it also gives me the option to actually give this folio away as a gift, where the person getting it can choose to put a photo in there of their choosing. So this makes for a great gift in both aspects, that it could be something that you choose the photo, and that's just how the folio is how you're presenting the photo that you want to give. Or this could be something where that's the gift idea itself, is the folio. And so that's up to you what you would like to do there. I am going to add just a smidge of liquid adhesive to this. There's already double-sided adhesive. I ran a line along the left edge, the bottom edge, and the right edge. And I left the top edge free of adhesive. And right over top my double-sided dry adhesive, I'm going to run just a thin line or a thin bead of liquid adhesive. That's going to make this a very permanent hold, and that way this it doesn't matter what climate you're in, this is going to be less likely to dry out and lose its stickiness over time. And as well, as I am positioning this onto my folio base, that liquid adhesive gives me a little bit of wiggle room too. But you can see this closes down nicely, and I'll go ahead and just burnish that. And again, I don't have my photo just yet, but because we didn't glue the top, we can slip a photo behind here. So that is your basic folio complete. So now, or your basic shaker folio complete. So now all that's left to do is some decorating. So you can decorate this however you'd like. What I'm gonna do is on the left side, I want to create a little journaling spot, or a little spot for captioning the photo or writing a little message. So again, if this is a gift that you plan to give and you're including the photo, it might be nice to actually, add a couple of words, maybe put, the year. If it's your annual family photo, maybe you want to put the year and maybe some highlights from that year. So that could be your spot for a little message. I'm going to just kind of line this up so that it roughly is level with our aperture there. And this was just a bit of scrap actually from one of the other folios that I made earlier. So there's that. We'll get that nice and centered. And I do have another example that was shared earlier, and that was a double shaker folio. So if you wanted, you can make another one exactly like this and then glue that down onto this side, and you would have the opportunity to present two photos if you wanted. I just wanted to share something different. Like if there was only the one photo, maybe it's your annual family Christmas photo, you could use this to kind of frame that up and then use this side for writing your message. So that could always be kind of on display. Then I am gonna I've got some scraps left over, and these are just 2-inch scraps, which work really nicely to decorate our front here. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and trim these to 4 inches wide, and I'll get that glued down to our front cover. So let me know in the comments if you've been enjoying this retreat so far. This is the first time that we are doing this with Cat Scrappiness, and hopefully everybody has been enjoying all of the different tutorials. We have 2 days of tutorials and workshops, and it's been a blast working with the fellow instructors to plan and coordinate what we would teach. And I just love the variety of different ideas that everybody came up with, and so I'm really excited to hear what you all think and to see if you've been enjoying the retreat as well. And of course today I'm crafting with the retreat bundle, but you could really make these using anything that you have in your stash. And I just think that these folios come together so quickly, and they're so easy, really versatile, and you could definitely if you needed to make more than just the one, if you like to make several for the holidays, it wouldn't be too difficult to make a lot. Got a little bit extra here, so I'm gonna trim that off, and I think I'll use my scissors for that. So get that trimmed off. So again, be sure, let me know in the comments if you give out family photos for the holidays, and that will be your entry. I'll pick a winner for one person to win these 6 folios that I made for this retreat, and this being one of them. So I'll show you the last, all 6 at the end before we wrap up. But before that, I think I'm gonna add some more embellishments. So in the die set here, there's some really great dies for decorating, and they're not necessarily all Christmas themed. I would say these are more just winter kind of foliage. The bow, actually, that's a beautiful bow, and that could be used for any time of year. That doesn't have to be for the holidays. And what I'll do is maybe do a little grouping of some leaves towards just to frame our the sentiment, and as well to frame the aperture window here. And there's this really cool, I love this, the pine cone. It's got a layering component to it, so I really love that. And I'll go ahead and assemble. I don't know what all I'm going to use from these accessories, and I don't know if I'll need to die cut more, but I do love all the little items that you can get. That bow has some really nice layering effect to it as well. And also included are some holly berries. So these I've just die cut out of scrap glitter cardstock just to keep everything nice and sparkly and fun. And I'll go ahead and assemble this one as well. You can decorate this however you'd like. You can make it as ornate as you'd like, or as simple as you like. It's just up to you, whatever your style is. Using some ribbon here might be another really lovely choice as well. And I might do something like that and call it good. So let's start to glue stuff down. I think we'll start with the leaves here. I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive because it's definitely helpful if you need to nudge things around a little bit. Gives you a little bit of time to work with it. I'll just have that framing. It's kind of nice to soften the edge of that aperture. So I am looking to kind of break into the aperture a little bit, and I'll use my dual-ended embellishment wand here. It's nice. It's got the pokey tool on the one side, but it's got a wax tip on the opposite end, and it's good for embellishment, but it's great for paper too. So that's going to be useful for just picking up these little die cuts. And just do a nice little group there. Do I want I think I want a third one as well. Let's put one. I think I'm going to use a little bit 3D glue gel. Totally optional. If you don't have it, don't worry. You could do a little foam dot if you want it instead. And squirted a little bit too much out. But 3D glue gel is great for adding just a bit of dimension, especially behind things that are an irregular shape. So, or things that are just really teeny tiny and kind of hard to get foam behind. So perfect for this that last little holly berry I wanted to add there, and then I'll get this little grouping attached, then we're gonna be nearly done. So you could definitely add more to the cover if you wanted. I like to keep the covers kind of plain, mostly because if this is meant to be on display and open, I don't think that front cover is gonna be seen that much. But since I am giving this away, when you get it, if you are the lucky winner, you could always add more to it as well. So that's the other reason why I kind of want to keep this a little bit understated, because then you can you can make some decisions as to how much you want to elevate the decorations and additional embellishments. So I'll leave that up to you. If you are the winner of this set of photo folios. So that pretty much completes our project. So let me show you. Again, we have our front cover, very understated. I'm going to leave this, so if you want to add a little bit more to it, you could. I like leaving it just like this because it is, I'm thinking this is going to get put on display. So this really isn't going to be seen all that often. Really, the inside is where all of the fun is, and I think this is going to display beautifully. You've got room on the left to write a little message, caption your photo. Behind this aperture is an area where you can actually slip the your photo between our shaker component and the folio base. So before you give this away, you can slip a photo behind here. If you want to keep this, if you're the winner and you'd like to keep this and display a photo, you could do that as well. It would make for a nice bit of decor as well. So you could use this as maybe a tabletop decor. If you want to have some friends over, put a photo behind here and put this on display at the table, that's also an option. I'm going to leave the back plain as well, but that is another area where if you wanted, you could put a little message. So that is the 4x6 shaker folio tutorial. Let me show you the 6 folios that I made and what you can win. Here's a quick look at all 6 folios that I created for this workshop. So be sure to leave some comments in the live chat for a chance to win all 6 of these, and I will announce the winner in the live chat as well. You'll have an opportunity to fill out a claim form in order to claim your prize, and that way I can send out all 6 of these to you. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the rest of the retreat, and I hope if you make a photo folio that you will share it in our retreat Facebook group. Thanks again, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye.
Hello, my fellow creators, and welcome to my workshop for the first ever Cat Scrappiness virtual winter retreat. I hope you have been enjoying what all the other instructors have shared with you so far today. Now, for my workshop, what I will be showing you how to make is 2 quick and easy stocking stuffers. The first stocking stuffer is this cute little altered mini composition book. And I'll be using the Christmas sweater stencil as well as the Christmas glitter paper pad. Now, both of these items were part of the retreat bundle. Now, for today's mini composition book, I'm going to share how to bring it up a notch. And to do that, I'll be using the Festive arrangement die set, which is also a part of the retreat bundle. Now, the reason for my voiceover today on the workshop is that as I was recording my video to show you how to make these, I have the craziest household. So my husband came in and interrupted, my children called, my grandchildren came in, and I had to keep pausing my process. So I didn't want you to have to hear all the crazy background noise, so I thought I would do a bit of a voiceover. So let's get started. These mini composition books I get at either the Dollar Tree or Walmart. And I believe this is one of the ones I got at Dollar Tree. To start our covers, we are going to need some white cardstock, and I'm using the 65-pound white Recollections cardstock that I had in my stash. And I am cutting 2 pieces from this cardstock at 4.5 inches by 6 inches. So there's my first cut at 4.5, then my second cut. Then I'll rotate this and turn it to cut it at 6 inches for each of those pieces. Now, once I have my pieces cut, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my stencil and lay that on the cardstock. And then I'll just tape it from the back to hold it in place. Now, for this mini composition book, I will be using some guava, watermelon, and cherry ink cubes that are new to me. And I will be ink blending starting with the lightest shade, so the guava on the bottom, and then I'll do it at the top as well. So it's kind of an ombre effect, but with the ombre meeting towards the middle. Then I'll go in with watermelon and do some more ink blending there. And I'll do that again on the opposite side, so on the bottom. But before I do that, at this point, I realized I forgot to add some Post-it tape so that when I'm ink blending, I don't go over to the edge of paper that's not covered by the stencil. So I went ahead and added the Post-it tape there, and then I'm going back to finishing my ink blending. So using the watermelon again at the bottom. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to my cherry color. And I'll do the ink blending in the center. And just look at how beautiful that shade of red is. I'm loving this. Now, once I have that portion ink blended, I'm going to go ahead and remove my stencil and then shift it over to the section of the cardstock that still needs to be ink blended with that stencil. So I kind of just lay it back on the pattern that's already on there to make sure I'm just continuing the pattern. And then I'll bring in my ink blending brushes and repeat what I did on the first section. So the lightest color, then the medium tone, and then lastly the darkest shade. And there you go. You can see we have our first cover for our mini composition book. Isn't that pretty? I absolutely love this stencil. Now, you can use whatever you have in your stash. If you didn't get the bundle, you can use any stencil to do this. Or if you really want it to be quicker and easier, you can use some pattern paper you already have in your stash. I just love this stencil so much that I wanted to make my own background for my covers. So bringing in those ink cubes one more time and doing some more ink blending to do my other cover. As you may know, there will be a giveaway during the live chat of my workshop. And so if you're in the live chat, all you need to do to win the stocking stuffers I've made, so that includes the stocking stuffers I'm making in today's workshop, as well as the ones I made as a preview and the other stocking stuffers I shared on my channel. All you have to do is guess how many mini ink cubes I have in my stash. The first person to guess closest without going over, yes, we're doing Price is Right rules, will win the stocking stuffers. So go ahead and put your guess in the live chat now, and I'll be checking to see who's the first one to guess closest to how many mini ink cubes I have in my stash. So I'm finishing up here doing my ink blending on my stencil over my back cover, and just look how beautiful this is looking. Alrighty, I'm going ahead and lifting this stencil off again and shifting it over to finish my ink blending. Let me know in the live chat as well. Do you give handmade gifts or handmade stocking stuffers? Do you enjoy receiving handmade gifts and handmade stocking stuffers? I know my grandkids look forward to what I'm going to make for them each and every year. What I like to do every year, and I started this a few years ago, is I make each of my family members a handmade ornament for that year. So they really enjoy doing that. And then I hang that ornament with their stocking, so I don't have to put a name on the stocking. They just look for their ornament that has their name on it, and they know that's their ornament and that's their stocking. Now here I'm taking the tape off the back of my panel, and this is some super cheap tape I bought at Walmart, and it was super sticky. So it tore up a little bit of the back of my cardstock, but that's not a big deal. Nobody's going to see that. So now that I have my 2 pieces of cardstock all ink blended, I'm going to bring in some score tape from my stash. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that right along the edge of that black spine and bring in my scoring tool just to rip the score tape. It's super easy to tear. I could just tear it by putting my scoring tool there. Of course, I could bring in scissors or just tear it with my hands. Now, I chose to use score tape versus liquid glue because that cardstock is kind of thin, and if I used liquid glue, I'm pretty sure you would see the markings of the liquid glue through there. And not only that, but the score tape really does have a good grip, and it'll make sure that the cardstock we're putting on our cover sticks. So I'm doing this to both the front and back cover. And these are really cute little stocking stuffers or gifts that you can give to people at the office. Now, I no longer work in an office. I am retired. As of the end of this December, I will have been retired for 1 full year. and loving every minute of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and add score tape to the inside, because when we add our cover, we will put it to the front and the back and then fold it over to cover the inside of the mini composition book as well. Now, if you were to make bunches and bunches of these, what I like to do when I'm making a large amount, a large quantity of any given item, is I do it more of an assembly line style. So if I were doing a large quantity of these composition books, is I would, for example, add all the score tape to all the mini composition books. Then I would go and stencil all my cardstock or cut all my pattern paper if that's what I was using. Then go in and cover all the covers next, and so forth and so on. And that way it's more of an assembly line style. Now here I did kind of a dry fit to make sure it was going to fit, and I did have to trim just a hair off the bottom. Now the best thing to do is to dry fit your pattern paper or whatever paper you're using to cover your composition book, because even though the packaging may tell you what the dimensions of the book are, they're always off just a bit. So dry fitting really does help to get you closer to the right dimensions. Now here I'm going to go ahead and remove the release paper from our score tape so that I can add my front cover. Once I have that peeled away, I'm going to butt the edge of my stencil paper up to the black spine and then align it top and bottom and attach it to the front. And then here I'm going to bring in my scoring tool and kind of burnish along the edge, and that'll just make it easier to fold over. And here you can see it's a little bit long. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and trim off just a hair. And then I'm going to fold it once more, make sure I trimmed off enough, and see if the book will close okay. And it looks like I need to trim just a little bit more. So here comes my paper trimmer again, and then we'll test it again. And that's much better. It closes much easier. So before I adhere the inside, I'm going to go ahead and attach the back cover to our mini composition book. So I'm removing this release paper, and sometimes the release paper gives me a little issue coming off. And then kind of making sure I have my paper in the right direction, I'm going to repeat what I did with the front cover and do that on our back cover. Alrighty, now once I have that lined up, I'm going to go ahead and burnish it again along the edge for the back and fold it over. And that one seems to be just the right length, so perfection. And I'll release this paper so that we can attach the inside portion of our cover. And as I said, sometimes that release paper just fights with me and doesn't want to come off. And really, I should have brought in my little pokey tool to help me get that release paper off. But once I've got that on, I'm going to burnish it and then repeat that with our front cover. And really, this does go very quickly. as long as you're not having constant interruptions by your family, as I do all the time. Okay, going ahead and folding that front cover in. And now what I'm going to do is bring in my corner chomper from Memory Keepers. And I'm going to use the 1/4 inch side of the corner rounder. And that way it'll match with the profile of the composition book. As you can see, the pages and the cover were rounded at the corners. So that's what I like to do. Now, you could leave it just as is with a black spine and you'd be done. But I've decided to bring in some of my scraps from the Christmas glitter paper pad. And I'm going to cut this scrap of gold at 4.5 by 1.5. So let me cut the 1.5 first. And then I will rotate my paper and cut it at 4.5. Alrighty. Then I kind of just like to, again, do a little dry fitting, make sure it's gonna work for our spine. And that looks like it's the right size. And then add some more score tape. So I'll add that to the spine on both the front and the back. Now I could have added this when I was adding to the cover. I just forgot, to be quite honest, and so I'm doing it now, which is not a big deal. And see, I can rip it by just putting my nail up against the edge and pulling, and my score tape rips real easy. So then I just kind of burnish that tape a little bit to make sure it sticks, and pull off that release paper if and when it decides to cooperate. And right here, you really could use liquid glue, because this glitter cardstock is thicker. I don't think you would see through it, but you would have to kind of hold it down more, because the liquid glue doesn't adhere instantly, and this score tape does. So that was my reasoning behind using the score tape. So here I'm pulling off more release paper and add our little glitter cardstock to that portion of the spine. So how is everybody enjoying today's workshops? Let me know in the live chat. Are you crafting along with everyone? Are you just sitting back and taking notes so that you can make these projects later on? I'd love to hear what kind of goodies you're making for the holiday season. All right, now that I have this attached, I'm going to burnish it down on the front and the back, as well as along the spine, just to make sure that the book opens and closes easily. Again, you could be done right here, but I did go ahead and cut out this beautiful large bow, and I cut it using more of that gold glitter paper. But before I adhere that, I'm going to bring in these peel-offs and add it at the edge of the gold glitter paper, and that'll give us some definition between the two papers. So I'm adding it to the edge of the spine, and that'll kind of show us the difference between our gold paper and our stencil paper. Now, doesn't that finish it off so beautifully? So I'm going ahead and adding that to our front cover, and I will add the same to our back cover. So that piece isn't long enough, I'll grab another piece. No big deal. And let's see if I can get this on straight. Sometimes I have shaky hands, especially my right hand. Still recovering from surgery, but doing much better than I was just a few months ago. Now, let me tell you, I've been so excited for today's retreat. I just was looking forward to everyone else's workshops and looking forward to chatting with you all in the live chat. I'm really glad that we did this. All right. Now, I'm going to put a picture up of all the stocking stuffers that the winner will be receiving from today's retreat giveaway. And I might add an extra goodie in there. Now, I'm going ahead and using some Barely Art liquid glue to attach my bow. So I use some shiny gold cardstock for the back layer and then the gold glitter cardstock for the more detailed layer. And then we can add that to the front. And I also cut out some of these holly leaves and some of the berries. So I might add those too. Now for the center of my bow, I use that shiny gold again. So I'm adding that using the liquid glue. Okay, now that I have my bow put together, let me bring in my little holly leaves and my holly berries. And I just kind of want to see how they look behind the bow real quick. And I think that looks pretty good. I think I'm going to adhere them. So I'm attaching my holly leaves. And I used more of the glitter cardstock. So I used it from a scrap of the green that I had for the leaves and a scrap of the red for the berry. All right, then once I have those adhered to my little book, I can go ahead and grab our bow and look how pretty that looks. I'll go ahead and attach our bow next. Alrighty, and once again, you could be done here. But there's one more thing you could do if you so choose. Wouldn't it be a great idea to put a gift card inside of this mini composition book? So I'm going to add a little pocket where you can place a gift card. And I'm just grabbing another scrap of my glitter cardstock, and this time in the red. And this piece I am cutting to 4.5 by 1 1/4. And this is going to be a real simple pocket, not one that you have to fold or miter corners. I'm just going to cut that at 4.5 first and then 1 1/4 next. And it's going to be a pocket on the side of the inside cover, so it won't be at the bottom, it'll be on the side. And then all I'll do there is I'm going to grab some more score tape and I will add it to 3 of the sides of this glitter paper. And for here I'm using a more narrow score tape, so it'll leave room for your gift card to fit. So 1 side, 2 sides, 3 sides. And then once I have that tape burnished, I can remove the release paper and add it to the inside cover of the composition book. Now you can also use this idea for a full-size composition book, or I don't know if you have them in your area, but in my area, around back to school time, Walmart has these half-size composition books. So you can use it for those too. You just have to adjust the sizes of your paper. Once I have those attached, I'm going to go in with my corner rounder one more time and round those corners. And then you have a little pocket for a gift card. Now, isn't that cute? So there is our first stocking stuffer. And now for stocking stuffer number 2, we're going to make a quick and easy bookmark. Now, I have a couple of dies that are bookmark dies, but I thought just in case you don't have a bookmark die, let's make a bookmark just using our paper trimmer. Now, I'm going to use a sentiment from the Reindeer Games Sentiment Stamp Set, which is also a part of the Retreat Bundle. And then I'll bring in an image or two from the Reindeer Games Stamp Set. Now, I'm going to use more of our Christmas glitter paper. And I'm kind of flipping through to see if I have any more scraps that might fit for this bookmark. But I don't think I had any scraps at this point that were that size. So let me flip through and see which color I'd like to use for this bookmark. And let's go with the green, since we did red on our composition book. Now, what I'll be doing is cutting my glitter pattern paper at 2 3/4 by 6. So since our paper is already 6 by 6, all we need to do is cut it down at 2 3/4. Then I'll bring in some white cardstock and I'll cut it at those same dimensions. So 2 3/4 inches by 6 inches. And that's all you need as far as paper is concerned. Then I'm going to place my white cardstock in my mini MISTI. And I'm setting my images down on there. So I have the little reindeer carrying a gift, and then I'll add a little gift next to him. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp those images on my white cardstock. And then for the bookmark, I did use a heavier white cardstock. I used 100-pound that I had in my stash because I just want the bookmark to be a little more sturdy. And I am stamping our images using my Gina K Amalgam ink. And then once I've got those images on there, I'm going to clean off my stamps and then bring in my favorite sentiment from that stamp set. And it says, "I was framed. Grandma is fine." I think that's just hilarious. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that sentiment, again using my Gina K Amalgam ink. And then I'll go ahead and clean that stamp off and put it off to the side. Then I'm going to bring in all the little mini snowflakes that were part of that Reindeer Games sentiment stamp set. And then I'm just going to place them all over the top 2/3 of my bookmark. And this way it looks as though there is snow falling all around our reindeer. So I'm just placing all the different size snowflakes that came in that stamp set. And then once I have them placed where I want them, go ahead and grab my ink again and ink them up and stamp those on my bookmark. Now, I want to add a few more, so I'm going to just come in with a stamping block and ink up some of those snowflakes and add those to the bookmark. Sometimes it's just easier to use a stamping block with these tiny images instead of having to clean them up and realign them on there. So that's what I decided to do with the rest of the snowflakes I needed on the bookmark. So I kind of cleaned them up and put them back on my packaging so as not to lose them. Now this is something you could do with different images from your stash. So you could make these for your children's school as a little back to school gift for their classmates and use some more school themed images on there. And I did that for one of my grandchildren a few years ago. Alrighty, so now that I have all my snowflakes all stamped on my bookmark, I'm going to go ahead and attach the white panel to our glitter cardstock. And for this, I am going to use my liquid glue because both of these cardstocks are thick enough that you won't see the lines of the liquid glue through them. Okay, so I'm just aligning them, kind of standing them up, making sure they're aligned. And then once those are lined up and adhere together, I am going to bring in my corner chomper again, and I'm going to quarter around the bottom portion of the bookmark using the 1/2 inch corner round. And then what I'm going to do is bring in my paper trimmer to trim off the corners of the top of the bookmark. So let's trim the first corner. And then I'll bring that little corner I cut off of the first corner, kind of put it on the second side, and do a real light pencil mark to see where I should trim it. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim that using my paper trimmer. Or you could use your scissors. I'm kind of picky about my cuts, and I'm not great at cutting straight with scissors, so I use my paper trimmer. Then I'm going to bring my little crocodile hole puncher and punch a hole in the top center of our bookmark. And you could measure here to get it aligned just perfectly in the center, but I'm just eyeballing it. And then I'm bringing in some red twine from my stash, and I'm just cutting a pretty long length. I didn't really measure, but I'm cutting that and then folding it over a few times. And then I'm going to bring that in from the back of the bookmark, and then I'll loop it around, pulling that through, and then I'll trim all the edges so they're more even. Now, I bet you're wondering why I haven't colored in this image. Well, I have these cellophane bags in my stash, and I'm just going to put our little bookmark in there. And then I have this 4-pack of crayons, and I'm going to add those. This is why I didn't color it. This is a little stocking stuffer where the recipient can color their own bookmark. I think this is such a good idea, especially for kids. Not that adults don't love coloring, but kids absolutely enjoy it. So this way they have their bookmark that they can color in any way they choose. So here is our second stocking stuffer, complete with crayons. Now, here are all the stocking stuffers that I have made, and this is what one lucky winner will be receiving from me. So all these goodies will be sent to one lucky winner who is commenting in our live chat today. Thanks for being a part of our first ever Cat Scrappiness Winter Virtual Retreat. We loved having you here, and we hope to see you again soon.